Hello and welcome to this special show of Agenda from Hyderabad. Is Greater Hyderabad turning into a Crater Hyderabad? Roads are caving in, they are turning into sinking holes. After every downpour, you have thousands of new potholes that open up. What you see behind me is a typical road in Hyderabad today. In fact, underneath is an 8-feet drain, I'm told, of which 7 feet is filled up, and therefore you have hardly 1 feet of water which is flowing. And therefore this road on a typical day would actually be fully flooded. I have with me citizens who have been very active in trying to solve their own problems, bringing the problems to the fore. I'm going to actually go across to Kaniza. Where we are sitting right now, I can see cracks on the road, Kaniza. What is the situation in this place usually? Today it's a dry area, but what is the situation there?
We have a lot of water overflowing out, and we have at least close to 25 fountains which come out from different places. All the water oozes out, and the sound is like that of a river or like that of sea waves. This is the kind of impact that we have.
That sounds very pleasant, but certainly not pleasant with all the drain water.
No. And we cannot sleep in the night because we get really scared. We are always worried. We have this sound all the time outside our homes, and that makes it very difficult for us.
It's actually a health risk. Behind you, actually, I can see a lot of water standing there. Of course, it's a season of mosquito and infectious diseases as well. But every colony, Kalpana, you live in a colony quite far off from here. What's the situation there?
So I live in Rolling Hills. So the situation there is no drain channels around our colony. So the entire bastis, drains that come into our colony, and then we created a bigger drain so that we could channel them well. But the point is the outlet is too small, and we have to collude with neighbors, many neighbors, to get the channel out, and there's still no way we can get this drain out. So we have to live with this. Every rain, our heart just thumps that we live actually in a luxury slum, because literally all of the drain and the smell and the stench for a few days, and having to clean it up, you know, a community does a lot of work.
The government says they did an intensive survey by which some 12,200 encroachments is what they found, and at least 47 points which stopped the flow of water. I have with me Jangaya, in fact, who suffered an accident twice. आपका क्या पाँव में लग गया था, आप गिर गए थे, पानी था?
पानी में जा रहा था, वो गिर गया, गड़ा था वहाँ, वो बैलेंस आउट हो गया, गिर गया था.
This he got away light in many senses, because we have had several cases, incidents of serious injuries and also unfortunately deaths. What's happening in a Bengaluru, in a Chennai, whenever the flooding happens, is this really an urban issue, or is this something that the rain gods have done an excess work of? Is that a curse of the rain gods in that sense? We spoke a short while ago to Hyderabad's Municipal Commissioner, Mr. Janardhan Reddy, who seemed to think that it is in fact the unprecedented rains that have left Hyderabad devastated. I have with me the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation Commissioner, Mr. Janardhan Reddy, sir. Whether it's Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, last 2-3 years we are seeing enormous urban flooding. Is this an issue of the cities growing beyond control, or is it the fact that challenges are not being able to be met by the municipal authorities?
Partly. Why partly? Mainly because of the sudden outbursts of the clouds. So whatever in Hyderabad last 1 month we are seeing, on a particular day in a particular part of the city, we are receiving 6 centimeters to 13 centimeters, in sometimes in case there are 20 centimeters also, in a span of some half an hour to 1 to 2 hours. The capacity of the drainage system is to cater to the needs of 2 centimeters rain per hour. If more than 2 centimeters per hour, that much water, it has to be remain on the roads.
What is the estimate of the number of potholes that we have?
On ordinary days, around 300 to 400 potholes we encounter, and on 24 hours we restore them. But when there is a rain and continuous rain and heavy rain for days together, so it will not allow us to go and then restore the potholes, because when there is a rain, quality suffers. So generally we wait for the rains to some dry period, at least 2-3 hours dry period, etc. Whenever we get the dry windows, we will try and we will restore. So because of the incessant rains for last 10-15 days, continuously 3 times, 4 times to normal potholes, like 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 backlog is there. And maybe 1 or 2 days if we get this dry period, we will try to work day and night and then restore to the extent of potholes. And secondly, there is a lot of roads patches. We have 9,000 kilometers of road, out of that 4,500 kilometers is a BT road. And BT road is very, very susceptible, And during rainy season, whenever there is intensity of rain is very high and water stagnation ranging from half an hour to 1 hour, 2 hours certain places, that damages the corrodes BT and damages the BT patches. So such patches also we have identified, and we are taking up the restoration. If the city roads are entirely cement roads, perhaps this type of problem will not come. But we could not lay entire cement roads, because once you lay cement roads, they are costly and durable, but one should not dig them again. But in the city, many places, many organizations like BSNL, electricity, water board and fiber network, all these people, for various reasons, to improve the infrastructure, expand the infrastructure, improve the network, they keep digging. So whenever such digging is taking place, again road also suffers.
Look very disturbing when we see, very main roads caving in. What is the issue there?
Not very frequently it is happening. Last year once in front of Secretariat, because of the problem of the drinking sewage pipe, old sewage pipe, because of the corrosion and all that caved in. So recently also in Kukatpalli, some water and sewage pipe. It is not the road problem. Whenever underground the road in many cities, we have many utilities, and those utilities frequently they have to be checked, and the challenge is they are underground, and we do not know at which point, at which spot, which caves in. So that because of that little unpredictability, unlike the predictability on the surface, underground, so sometimes this type of problems come, and both the times, and in fact within 24 to 48 hours we could restore.
So unprecedented rains and the challenges of urban development, developing beyond what you can handle. That's what the commissioner says. Priya, you are someone who again had the same problem, not just on the roads but near your home as well. You use social media. The government actually claims that they have a very robust social media presence, and they are very proactive, that within 24 hours they fix all potholes.
I definitely have to agree to that, Uma. Social media has been very helpful to us, especially this year. And my colony had a persistent problem for the last 3-4 years, and it was completely submerged under the water. Many media people and government authorities came and visited our colony, and that colony has become a fishing haven. People used to jump into the compound and start fishing. And last
It's as bad as that. You're not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating. Even now you can come and see some breeding there. Last time there were several authorities who came, the corporator, the deputy mayor, everybody came to our colony several times, but there was no action taken. When during the summer we actually approached them, they said we cannot do anything about it, your area is a low-lying area, and then we kept quiet. But last year we did not have so intense rains that we had this year, but this year it was very, very bad, and snakes started to swim into our residences all the time. It was very dangerous, and we were not having lights for 20 days. So I've never been on Twitter, I've never been on social media, but for the first time I took to social media, and
You tried to embarrass them or question them in that sense. Aditya, you actually started a social media campaign. You called it the photography contest, and you got a tremendous response for that. What kind of responses, and what is the way forward? Problems are many, but what did you find? What did people have to say? Are they willing to be partners in this development?
So basically what happened was, after Jangai was somebody whom we know well, and after his accident, it just kind of, we realized that we have to take much more action than just talking about it. So what we started doing was, yes, we did have a contest, but at the same time, we started analyzing why this problem is happening. Because every time these issues like low-lying areas, government saying that rains are responsible, these are not true. Almost every department has a role to play here, whether it is HMDA, whether it is RNB, whether it is GHMC, everybody has a role to play here, and everybody has been
Your attempt is in that sense to make citizens wake up to this and start taking an active interest in it.
One is about the citizens actually getting active, but more than that, the reasons which are given by the government are false. It is a question of implementation. Even RTIs have been, we have tried to find out how much has been spent in each ward of these 150 GHMC limits. You would be shocked to look at the numbers. I don't think I should say it out here, but this requires investigation. Potholes, while there are people who are talking about potholes, the biggest problem here is the mixture which is used. Even there is high-end corruption is what we have realized. There is specific mixture which you used for potholes. So what they do is the contractor, and there is a nexus happening. We are soon going to file an FIR.
In fact, Lubna is someone who has gone to court on issues like this. The commissioner, in fact, tells us that citizens also, in a sense, are responsible, because in a place, biodiversity, that junction where we had huge amount of plastic that was recovered, and that was blocking the drains completely. He gave us a figure of about 70 crore polythene bags of 50 microns and less, which were actually being put into the drains by the citizens. Citizens also have a role, don't they?
Yeah, I find that my GHMC commissioner, my HMDA commissioner, and water board and the minister also are continuously busy blaming either the rains or the citizens. But actually the fact of the matter is that it is they and solely they who are responsible for the whole mess in which we find the Hyderabad today. It is not about potholes, you know, the whole city is caving in. Are we realizing the peril in which we are? Are we at all realizing that? So the point here is that, as told by Aditya, and you just see what the ladies
said
here, Kaniza and Kalpana and others have told, it is two critical reasons here. When he tells 2 centimeters only our roads can withstand, has he got an answer to the fact that our city, which is a home to hundreds of lakes, the GHMC itself is a home to more than 200 lakes. If those 200 lakes were having its natural holding capacity and all its feeder inflow channels were open without any blocks, and all the lakes were, all the encroachments were evicted, all the rainwater which we were blessed with by the God today would have been landed in the lakes. But without doing that duty, the government is, what it has been doing over the past 3 years was so-called beautification of the lakes, during which what they did is they disturbed the entire contours of the city and the lakes in which the water would have flown, and they are constructing huge walkways and obstructing all the inflows into the lakes. Why won't my city be inundated?
In fact, they tell us the rainwater harvesting was also a huge project of the government, but even that they tell us in the villages, in fact, you hardly have about 10% percolation, and in the urban spaces 1%. That is really perhaps the shame.
Let me tell you, the Telangana's groundwater department report, it clearly mentions that we need to, it is imperative upon us to increase the pervasive nature of the ground here in Hyderabad. And here we have our government crazily going after closing the existing open areas such as the Bison and the Gymkhana grounds, and converting land out of the lakes. The government is doing it. The citizen is doing it. Government has a duty to stop it. But what when the government itself is doing this through its omissions and commissions?
Yeah. Mrs. Gulshan, in fact, you are someone who decided to show the government the way in a sense, and you said you're going to show the way clearing up. You actually went onto the road along with your fellow citizens and did Shramdan to say that we have to at least shame the government into action. Is that what it was?
Actually, I didn't want to shame. It was just a spontaneous decision. I got fed up of all the complaints on WhatsApp and Facebook, and that road had not been repaired for about 3 years. People were having spinal injuries. They were having, pregnant ladies were terrified of traveling on that road. Just a 2-minute stretch used to take 20 minutes to travel. So I just on impulse, I said, I'm willing to do Shramdan, and this lady was the first one, very senior citizen, let's do it, Gulshan. And then our Chandrasekhar, he also said, let's do it. And we did Shramdan, physically lifting and filling potholes.
But subsequently the government reacted because the media attention came.
Yes. And then in the second Sunday, we do it on Sundays because traffic is less. On the second Sunday, they begged us to stop because they would do it. This was the response. If it was, and I was subsequently told that sanction was done 6 months ago. So why wasn't it done?
While it's perhaps a very good idea for citizens to become proactive and show this, it's perhaps more about making the government do what we expect them to do. We will discuss what the way forward can be, because it's not possible that all citizens will come onto the roads and clean the drains and perhaps lay the roads either. So more on what solutions on the road forward could be after a short break.